Sequels, the most successful films get them. Sometimes though they don't, and that can be because of budgeting, timing, profits, and a bunch of other factors. So today I'm going to run you through some of the film sequels that I would want to see happen someday that for whatever reason haven't. Dredd 2. Dredd is legitimately a great film. It has good action, cool visuals and effects, interesting characters, and it was fun and exciting too. But for some reason nobody went and watched it. So we have a great film that was ripe for sequels that will now probably never get a sequel at all. We are getting a long in development mega city set TV show on Amazon, but it's been a real long time since we heard anything about that. The Bourne Legacy 2. Jason Bourne is out of the picture, forget about him. Insert Jeremy Renner and suddenly nobody cares about this spy franchise anymore. Nobody except me, it seems. I think The Bourne Legacy is not only highly underrated, but the best Bourne movie. It's certainly better than the sort of reboot they did after this. I think people didn't like this one purely because they were comparing it to the prior movies too much. Forget those movies, and this one is really good in my opinion. Legacy introduces new characters and further expands on the spy conspiracy world of the series. It then comes to an end, with little closure and ample room for sequels and follow-ups. What happens next? I have no idea, and it drives me crazy. Sherlock Holmes 3. Robert Downey Jr. has been pretty busy these past 10 years, so busy that one of his most fun and quirky roles has been sidelined. It didn't help matters when director Guy Ritchie moved on to other projects too, so now Robert is a producer and he's no longer quite as busy as he once was. Slight spoilers. So we may eventually see the long-awaited return of Sherlock Holmes. He definitely has interest in doing it, it's just a matter of when, and is it too late? Who knows? Blade Runner 3. Here's another example of a brilliant movie that nobody went and watched. In fact, Blade Runner 2049 is a masterpiece, one of the finest bits of science fiction cyberpunk storytelling ever made. Why didn't people watch it? Possibly because it was a sequel to an 80s movie not a lot of people watched. Maybe because people just couldn't be bothered to watch that one first. I don't know. But it's unlikely now that we'll ever get to visit this rich, detailed, fascinating cyberpunk world again. And that's a real shame, especially since the third film would probably be way more distant from the prior two, and as such more interesting, potentially. We are however getting an animated TV show which looks pretty cool. World War Z 2. Zombies have kind of been done to death, no pun intended. When World War Z came out, it was a sort of breath of fresh air for the franchise, amping up the threat levels to extreme levels. It was a cool, fast-paced action horror. It wasn't perfect, there were some silly moments like Brad Pitt's somehow being the sole survivor of a plane crash, and it barely resembled the book it was based upon. But there was a lot of potential for more, and they were at some point going to do more with David Fincher attached to direct. The possibilities there were really tantalizing. Only it never happened. Austin Powers 4. Austin Powers may have had his moment in the sun. He may have been a product of a time period with questionable jokes and representation. That being said, the films had their moments and Mike Myers was great in them. A lot of big franchises often come back with older characters and better sensibilities. Why not Austin Powers? It could be really interesting to see older versions of Austin and Dr. Evil. Of course, any sequel would have to address the time between movies and the loss of Vern Troyer. At one point a sequel was being planned and toyed around with, but I'm not sure it's ever going to happen now. Maybe we've moved on too much. And those are the sequels I want to see someday. I'm sure there are some out there which I haven't even thought of, some out there which are in development that I don't even want to see. What are the sequels you want to see? Let me know in the comments and feedback down below, and of course, subscribe to my channel to get more content like this. Why not also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at @the_GrandBurton. Until next time though, thanks for watching. There will not be a sequel to this video.